me, fellas!
All right, old school NBA fans, self-research, NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. In this video here, it's pretty simple. I got the modern all-time greats and how they did against top 5 net-rated teams. I couldn't really do the Oscar Robertsons, Bill Russells, Will Chamberlains. Well, I mean, I guess I could have. But because there were so few teams, pretty much everybody you played was going to be a top 5 net-rated team. You know, Jerry West, all that. It just didn't translate really good. I started as far back as basically like 1970 with Kareem. That's the guy I started with. So basically this is about the top 10 or 12 players, at least in my mind, all-time greats, going back to 1970. How do they do against, not only how did they do against top 5 net-rated teams, but how many did they play? Because that's also a very important thing. You know, people talk a lot about competition and whatnot. All right, well, let's see. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he played, of his 49 playoff series, 21 were against top 5 net-rated teams. That's a percentage of 42.85%. I mean, you know, that's decent. His record is 13-8, giving him a winning percentage of .619. I mean, you know, that's pretty good. Nothing, you know, nothing sticks out there as good, you know, real good or real bad. I mean, you know, not bad. The next player is Dr. J. Now, Dr. J, I only counted his NBA because the ABA was a little screwy again because of the teams. I mean, at one point, there was only like 7 or 8 teams at the end there. So, in his 28 playoff series, he played against 15 top 5 net-rated teams for a 53.6% of the time. If you're playing half, I feel like that's about right where you should be. Because, you know, like, if you're not playing at least half, then you had a cupcake city in my mind. Or, you know, close to. I mean, if you're like 45 or 40, I mean, okay, that's probably respectable. But, you know, you're anything lower than that, your competition just wasn't that great. Dr. J was 7-8 against those 15 teams for a .466 winning percentage, which it's okay. The thing is you got to also consider the teammates and all that kind of thing. Dr. J had teammates for days. I mean, he had, you know, George McGinnis, Hall of Famer, right off the bat when he came into the NBA. Doug Collins, a very good player. Caldwell Jones was a good player. You know, they had guys like Steve Mix and World B. Free coming off the bench, getting you 18, 20 points a game. I mean, it's crazy. You go back and look at some of those box scores. He definitely had a good supporting cast. And then, of course, later on, you know, with like Bobby Jones and, Daryl Dawkins. That's another guy coming off the bench. But he was, you know, 7-8. That it is what it is. Magic Johnson, he had a pretty low percentage. Of his 39 playoff series, 14 were top 5 net-rated teams. And that's what happens when you play in a poor conference like the West in the 80s. It is what it is. His record, though, of 10-6, now that is a good, solid record against top 5 net-rated teams for a .625. So that's winning 5 out of every 8 games. You know, that's what you want to see. You can live with that, for sure. Larry Bird played about half, 16 of his 33 playoff opponents, top 5 net-rated teams, 48.49%. Okay, so, you know, that's pretty good, right in line with pretty good. His record of 9-7 is okay, not bad, for a .563 winning percentage. Now, again, I know he played the Lakers a lot, he played the Pistons, he played the 76ers. I get all that, you know, that's definitely part of the reason. But he didn't play those guys in every round. Akeem Olajuwon. Akeem played 15 of his 28 playoff series against top 5 net-rated teams. That's a high percentage. 53.57% of the time, he's playing a top 5 net rated team. That's pretty good. Over half. That's some stiff competition. And again, considering who his teammates were, to be 7-8, the same as Dr. J, I don't think that's bad at all. .466 winning percentage. Really not that bad at all. I did one the other day on top 5, maybe a couple weeks ago, on top 5 finishers for MVP, and it was the same kind of thing. Olajuwon was like 500. It's like, man, he did what he could with what he had. So anyway, to me, it's quite respectable. Then we got Michael Jordan. Now, this is a whole different animal right here, because he played 22 of his 37 playoff opponents were top 5 net rated teams for a 59.5%. So that's, what's that? Almost 60%. That's pretty good. When I was looking at this, did you know that in Michael Jordan's 37 playoff series, only 3 teams ever that he played out of those 37 were outside the top 15? I mean, you look at other players and almost nobody has that. That's like a modern player since like 1980 or whatever. Only 3 teams were outside of the top 15. In fact, the only teams that was Milwaukee Bucks in 1990. They were ranked 18th. Then you got the 1992 Miami Heat. They had a losing record. They had a 21st net rating. And then 1993 Atlanta Hawks, who actually did have a winning record, they were 16th. That's it. That's every other team was inside the top 15. And like I said, 59.5% of his opponents were top 5 net rated teams. So Jordan always was playing the best the league had to offer. I mean, I think in his first 6 playoff series, 5 of them were top 4 rated teams. I mean, he was always playing the best teams. And his record, 15-7 for a .682 winning percentage. You'll find that's quite strong compared to, basically anybody else. Shaquille O'Neal, he played half top 5 net rated teams. 22 of the 44, 50%. And his record was also 15-7, just like Jordan's. Of course, he had Kobe Bryant, Penny Hardaway, and Dwayne Wade, but still, 15-7, .682, that's a very good winning percentage. No doubt about it. Kobe Bryant. Kobe did good on this too, almost as good as Jordan. He played 25 of his 43 playoff opponents were top 5 net rated teams. 58.1%. That's high. His record was 16-9 for a .640 winning percentage. That's very good, actually. So what you'd expect, from Kobe and Jordan, exactly what it is. Tim Duncan played 18 of his 48 playoff opponents were top 5 net rated teams. That's actually a little lower than I would have thought it was. Actually, a lot lower. That's only 37.5%. That's 3 out of every 8 opponents was a top 5 net rated team. Meh. And his record, 9-9. Not really that great. I mean, he did beat some good teams. Beat the Lakers. Yes, Phoenix was pretty good. He beat Miami in 2014. Stuff like that, sure. But overall, a little disappointing, actually, that Tim Duncan was only 9-9. Kind of crazy. How about LeBron James? LeBron James played 19 of his 54 playoff opponents were top 5 net rated teams. That's the lowest of any of these players. 35.2%. I think Duncan was at 37.5. This is lower than that even. And his record is 9-10 for a .473 winning percentage. Under 50%. With the teammates that he had, yeah, he should have done a little better than that, I would think. I put Steph Curry in here. He'd be the last one. He played 12 of his 29 playoff series were top 5 net rated teams. That's only 41.4%. Really not that great. And then when you consider some of those teams were way less than full strength. Several of them that he played, actually, top 5 net rated teams that, had injuries. And he took advantage of it. I always give him credit for taking advantage of it, but let's not act like Curry had some crazy good competition, because he just didn't, and that's okay. His record is 8-4, which is a good record, .666, no doubt about it. But again, when you start picking off some of those teams, you're like, well, he lost to about as many as he beat good, really good teams at full strength. So I'm just saying, I don't need to get into who they are. We all know who they are, but really, it's about 500, to be honest with you. All the players at this minute, it's only 11 players, I guess it was. But Michael Jordan played the most top 5 net rated teams, at least the highest percentage. And he actually played more than LeBron James. And LeBron played 19 out of 54 playoff series. Jordan played 22 out of 37 playoff series. So when you go by net rating, it's a joke to compare LeBron James' competition to Jordan's. Don't even do it. Leave that one alone, LeBron fans. Don't touch it. Say whatever you want about. At the end of the day, against top 5 net rated teams, Michael Jordan played 22 out of 37 teams. LeBron James played 19 out of 54. So just leave it alone. He had a 9-10 record, and Jordan was 15-7. So he played the most top 5 net rated teams at 59.5%. Kobe Bryant had played the second most at 58.1%. So again, those guys played the best the league had to offer. As far as the best winning percentage, that was Jordan and Shaq together. They tied. They both had a winning percentage of .682 against top 5 net rated teams. Period. LeBron James played the least amount going by percentage at 35.2%. Period. There's just no getting around it. That's a fact. If you were curious, this is not one of those teams.
Gauskas, that's his 12th rebound.
I think if Cleveland scores here, you might see a timeout, especially if it's a 3.
James too deep on that shot. Prince. McDyess. And the game is tied.
And this was not one of those teams.
And got it within 6. With the C's swinging around, Pierce knocks down another 3. Boston up by 12.
I mean, those threes right there really hurt the Cavaliers because they were making a run.
How important was Tony Allen in this series?
Huge. I mean, I'm from the defensive end, right? As you see right here, they're still on LeBron James. And look at him, leading the break, run out of transition. He gets the bucket also. He was terrific. He was terrific off the bench on both ends of the court. Matt and Eric.
Believe it or not, this was a top 5 net rated team.
LeBron once again making the right play.
Here's Lowry getting inside. That will count at a foul. Aaron Williams found the space.
The lowest winning percentage versus top 5 net rated teams, at least for the players that I had. Dr. J and Olajuwon came in at .466 winning percentage, which, yeah, it's a little low. I think Dr. J's is a little more disappointing considering his teammates. Later on had Moses Malone and then Barkley and all that. A little disappointing. Olajuwon can't really be disappointed considering he didn't have much for a good 8-9 year stretch in the middle of his career. But LeBron James, who people call the GOAT, like I said, I did a video a couple weeks ago about how LeBron James specifically did. I mean, I had other players, but I'm just saying, for this point, against top 5 finishers for MVP, LeBron James was 5-8. That was among the weakest on the list, per usual. So then, okay, forget about the finishers for MVP. How about just net rated teams? Nope, he did bad there too. .473, a losing record. So again, I don't know what you guys want from me. I go through, pick a topic, and this is what it shows me. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, people. I'm sorry. But I've said this so many times. If you're the greatest player of all time, then there should be nothing that you cannot stand up to criticism or scrutiny about, because you're the greatest. I mean, if you're going to look at LeBron James through the lens of the greatest player of all time, then obviously everything is going to be, looked at, dissected. I mean, is he the greatest? You got to look at it from every angle. He's not close to it. I don't know what is going on with this, other than it's got to be for my generation. I know the big media has been pumping this up for years, and so many brainwashed sheep follow what they say. But he just isn't. I mean, you want to talk about like athleticism and, he can get to the hole really quick and he's explosive and all that. Sure, no doubt. But individual basketball skills, he leaves a lot to be desired. And he just has issues with the best teams and the best players. I don't know what else you want me to say or do about it. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It's almost practically what I do day in and day out is research NBA history. And I'm just telling you, LeBron James is not close to the best player we've ever seen. He's just not. Now, is he like top 12 or whatever? Sure. The longevity alone would dictate him being, at least in that realm. You know what I'm saying? But overall, when you look at the totality of his career, longevity is just one aspect. You can't hinge it all on that one thing. All of it. And I'm just telling you, he's just not the guy. You know what I mean? Now, if you're hell-bent on you got to have a guy from your generation, just wait. Maybe Jokic has a shot. He's got a lot better shot than LeBron James does, because this stuff just isn't cutting it for me and a lot of other people as well. So anyway, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing the video, I'd really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And that's it. Until next time.